A big welcome to our special guest on Money Mindset Week. This is Gina Blundell, who's been a friend of mine for at least 10 years.
Yes.
And our session with Gina today is going to be along the lines of what's your money story? So, Gina, tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, my name's, yes, Rosemary said, Gina Blundell, and I'm a divorce financial coach for midlife women. And as Rosemary said, we've known each other a while. And yeah, so I've recently moved back to Essex. I lived in North Devon for like the last 5.5 years. And my story is one of divorce, one of coercive abuse, financial abuse along those lines. And basically, I left Essex in May 2020 to go through my divorce because I literally filed for divorce in January 2020. And then I went when COVID hit because we had another property in Devon, which was a holiday let and it couldn't be let. So I thought, right, I've got a choice here. I can either stay in Essex and go through the divorce, and it was becoming untenable to do that, even, you know, in the house, even though we were living separate lives, we still had to pass each other. And yeah, it wasn't great. So I decided to go to Devon because everything was going online. I could still do my networking online. I was at the time working in health and wellbeing business. And I thought, right, let's just do this. Let's just go. So off I went to Devon and then I went through the divorce there. It was a very lot back and forth because my ex was dragging it all out and I had a therapist, plus I had a lawyer as well. So, and even though I was a management accountant in my career, I left it when I had my son, who's coming up 24 this year. He was 18 that year, so I knew I could leave because he was 18 in the April. So I thought, right, I'm going in May. So that's what I decided to do. I literally left the marriage way before emotionally, before I physically left, but I had a lot of things that I planned, not that anyone knew this, so that I knew exactly where all the documents were, making sure that I had certificates and stuff like that. So I did all that beforehand. And so I left with all of that before to take to Devon because I knew that, I needed the information. So, and I changed all the posts and everything to go there as well. So financially, we had a joint account. I had my own account as well, but that was a lot later on. Because I thought, my money story is going back to my parents. My mum was the spender, my dad was the saver. And I remember very clearly in the mid 70s when I was about 11, um, that my dad said, right, this has to stop now. This really was clear to me. And that's what made me, I think, become like saving like my dad. Because what happened was we were like, and this was a lot of money then, £3,000 in debt, which is equivalent to a lot more now. This was like 50 years ago, nearly. So it was 50 years ago. Actually, it's 51 coming up. So I remember that. And my dad would never lose his temper over things. He was very, uh, he unconditionally loved my mum and he would give her everything because he really loved her. But the thing is, he had to put his foot down because like we were in debt and we had to pay that debt back. And, that's what I remember. And it was like, because my dad didn't do that, it was really, to me, I felt actually now I know in my nervous system, I thought, oh my goodness, I was quite scared, I suppose. And also as well, we were supposed to go to Butlins like 2 years before, but now I know why we didn't because my mum would always say, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," but it never materialized into anything because we just didn't have the money. And they were both teachers, so didn't earn a lot of money, but my dad did marking on the side and stuff like that. So it was always like catch up, I think, I felt in my own family. We never wanted for anything though. We always had, food on the table. We always had things and we went to party, all of this stuff, all parties and stuff. But it was that really planted a seed in me to really be aware of that, I suppose. Uh, and yeah, that's what I remember. So, of course, you take those beliefs into when you grow up and you
Mhm.
basically, I used to save my pocket money. I used to be quite religious about doing things like that. So I was quite good with money, although a lot when I was at school, everyone said, "Oh no, Gina, she doesn't know anything about money," things like that. You see, you kind of remember things like that as well. Yeah, because my mum was a teacher at the school, the junior school I went to, and also a friend who was a teacher as well. Oh, Gina's not very good at maths. So you, of course, those beliefs you take with you. And ironically, I became a management accountant. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like those beliefs that are in you that you take with you. And I actually fell into accounts. I studied it later. So I worked for Unilever in the mid 80s and then basically uh, went into their accounts department of subsidiary, it's a company subsidiary of Unilever, which was called, oh, I can't remember, UAC or and so then I went into their accounts and I thought the only way to actually progress with this was to study it. And then that's how I became an accountant. And I studied later, I did AAT, then I did a higher national in business and finance, and then SEMA, but and it was progressive along like that. So yeah, that's my story, is that, and all of this. And so when I got married, I kind of, you want someone to look after you, and we were brought up to be like that, like the fairy tale, like you get married happily ever after, all of this. And I supported my ex-husband because I bought a flat in 1988, bought at the top of the market and it crashed. And basically, those days when 16% mortgages were a thing,
Yeah. Wow.
and the actual global economy, it wasn't global actually, it was actually the UK in the early 90s that crashed and so that's why the mortgage went up to 16%. Negative equity was massive because it wasn't just people just coming onto the housing market, it was people that had been on it, my parents, it affected as well. So all of these things, you see, and I was very good at keeping a log of what I was at. More, most of my salary was actually going on the mortgage because it was 16%. And I was like living on a very small amount of money. So I had my little cash book and I used to literally write everything in it. Honestly, I was just like religious about doing it because I didn't have much money. So it's not really about the money you have, it's the money you keep. It doesn't matter how much you have because I realized when I had very little, I was okay. It's only later on that I started to feel quite anxious about money, I suppose. But that's because I was married to somebody that was anxious about money. So the way my ex-husband grew up, he like his dad would say, "We've got no money," and yet they had money. It's weird, isn't it? But he was the person that controlled the money, I suppose. So, of course, my ex-husband grew up in that environment where they had a joint account, but then his mum would hide things from the dad, his dad, because she was worried that he'd shout at her for spending too much money. But they had the money to spend because he would invest money as well. And I think with men, they are taught to invest. As women, we're not taught to invest. We're taught to save. We're
Mm.
not taught to invest. And that's the difference because men invest, they lead, they are the provider, aren't they? And that's what we grew up with. And actually, even nowadays, that is kind of still the thing because it's taking a long, even though we've changed a few things, we still have a long way to go with that. In my opinion, we still do, because I still speak to women now that don't know anything about their finances. They don't know. They literally like are relying on someone else to actually save you.
So tell me a bit more about the control that you were under in your marriage then.
Right. Well, I didn't realize when I got married, I was being abused actually from the very beginning because when I look back, my ex said, "Oh yeah, we'll get a house, we'll do this, we'll do that." And then when I finish university, we'll do all this. It's fake, it's future faking, basically, future faking your future because they're saying all these things and you're believing all these things. But actually, it was me that was taking the risk because I was paying for everything at the first. And then when he graduated 3 or 4 years later, then he was working for a telecommunications company. And basically, he had got his degree and then he got a really good like job. And then basically I was working as well in London. So we did all right, together. And then basically when we had the kids, it was when we had the kids that I realized he's trying to hold back. And I then was reliant on him for money
Mm.
because I didn't have any money. And then I realized I was kind of hiding things, doing the same thing as his mum was doing because of the dynamic of the relationship. But I was actually doing that before, even when, because the thing is, we had a joint account. He wouldn't allow me to have my own account at that time. Now, the thing is, with an abusive relationship, you trauma bonded to them. So sometimes they're really loving and really nice and really giving you all these things. And other times they're shouting at you and saying you're spending too much money or you're not, all of these things. So the brain is just trying to keep you safe. So then you just adapt, the brain adapts. And so that's what was happening. And I only realized that later on when I did all my qualifications through retraining with narcissistic abuse and trauma-informed coaching and stuff like that. So it's trauma, and that's what it is. So you actually, it's not just PTSD, it's actually complex PTSD because it's a back and forth. Your brain is keeping you safe at all times. That's what it's there for. It's not there to make you successful or anything. It's there to keep you safe.
Mm.
And then I realized I was hiding things. And then I got my own account later when I did Forever and you know, and all of that. So the thing is, it's like I felt as though I was losing myself.
Mm.
And that's what it feels like because I didn't have my own money. But even when I did have my own money, it was always he would say, "Oh no, he was still going on about spending as well and not saving, but he was a saver, but then he would spend lots of money on himself. So when
Okay.
he'd go out, he'd spend a lot of money on going out because he had to show everyone that he was this great guy because that's what the dynamic is in an abusive relationship because behind closed doors is very different to outside the front door. So he was known as this great guy. Like, so when I left, it was like, why have you left?
Mm.
But they don't see the dynamic behind the door. So, and that's what was happening. So it's only when I look back that I realize how bad it was
Mm.
because it's only when you leave, isn't it? When you leave and then you think, oh my goodness, it was actually worse.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you go through the divorce, they actually show you who they actually are. So, yeah.
And I can remember you saying, well, we used to mean networking, and you said
Yeah.
afterwards that you were basically going networking to get out of the house and the control, weren't you?
Yes, exactly. That's what I did, and that's what I loved. I really needed to, and actually, I got more and more, and then I literally traveled with, forever the company that I was working alongside, just to get away from my
Mm.
environment that I was in, because you change the environment, you change everything, but the dread of going back then into that house every time I had to go back. So actually, I stayed out a lot more because I never wanted to go home, never really wanted to go back. And it was more and more. And then I thought, I've got to do something here. And
One
it's
of my
facing that fear.
one of my friends was in a similar situation once, and she said someone described her home as a very luxurious prison.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, very luxurious prison. And that's what it was like because you didn't know what mood he was going to be in. And when I was doing what I was doing, he hated it because I was never there. And
Mm.
I and then but he couldn't make me be there. So then more and more I was just not there and going out, and I wasn't telling him, I was just going. And yeah,
So tell
it
me,
was,
this is Money Week. So how can you, if someone's listening to this and resonating with it at all, or just absolutely curious, tell us a bit more about how you work with people now, please.
yeah, I work, my company's ginaB.co.uk, and what I offer on there, the free resources that I offer is the wealth checklist. You can download that, and the financial quiz to see if you're actually being abused, because I know that I didn't realize I was until I did, kind of thing, like leaving and looking back and stuff. So that gives a clear idea as to whether you are being or not. Plus, I actually got a clarity mapping session, which I do like 90 minutes. So we see where you are, what your finances are looking like. We map out where you want to be, and then the transformation of where you want to get to. So, what do you want your life to look like? And we go through all that, and we do a recording, and then I send you the recording plus the notes that we made within that session. So that's a new thing that I'm doing. And I also do like one-to-one divorce reset retreat. So that's working one-to-one. We have a whole day together. We have lunch, and we basically work together all day. And that's going to be at the Roslyn Hotel. And it's all on my website. And
Lovely.
I also do brain spotting sessions and stuff as well. So
And you have a podcast, don't you, as well?
yes, yeah. So
Lovely. So what do you share on your podcast?
my podcast is called the Divorce Reset Podcast, and I have had various guests on there. I've had lawyers, I've had people that have been through financial abuse, didn't realise in other relationships. It's quite interesting actually, and what we talk about there. And I've also my stories on there, and I talk about financial abuse on there as well. I and also I've got 14 episodes on there, and I've got another six to go on there. And I've had various guests lately of all different backgrounds, ladies that come on as well, sharing their stories. And a lot of them, some of them aren't married, some of them are, but it's all various different things, really. I'm always looking for people to come on as well, like solicitors, even people in finance, people that want to share their story. So if anyone wants to do that, then they're quite welcome. They can just reach out to me. Um,
Lovely. And what would you like to share with anyone who's watching this? Have you got a little
I think,
exercise you could share, or just some tips or something like that?
well, some tips are, um, there's all sorts of ways you can get around this. I mean, what I did was like to save money in terms of if you feel as though you're being stopped with money, there's things that you can, like taking cash back on when you do a supermarket shop and stuff like that. Plus, opening your own bank account, like anyone can do that. You can open your own bank account. Lots of women I find haven't got their own bank account, but you can do that, and just actually saving some money yourself, because that's what I did. Like you can and write down everything, write down actually what you're spending, because a lot of women we sometimes don't realize, because if you don't write it down, you don't know. And so write your expenses down for a month and think, right, where can I save money within like even a week? Look at what you're doing. Your habits tell you everything. And it's those sort of things, especially when you really do not do that as well. And a lot of women don't. A lot of women think oh, I can't afford to do this, because your new nervous system, you're getting really dysregulated, because obviously the vagus nerve runs through, and that dominates all of it really, as to what you're doing. So
So the purpose of doing that in the bigger picture is to understand yourself, your money story. Yeah.
yes,
But
yeah,
also, is this about putting money aside so you can at some point
yes, yes.
shift forward?
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, I know a lady that saved up to like 20 grand before she left. And you can do it. even when you haven't got much money.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really amazing what you can do. Yeah.
It was one of my concerns is that now we don't have so much cash anymore. I think it makes it more difficult for people to squirrel money away privately.
Yeah, I know that you see this was before yeah, exactly. That's what I used to take cash amounts out because I knew what the consequences of not doing that was. So I could, so if you spend money in a supermarket shop and I knew I would spend whatever it was, and I'd take like £50 cash back. But also as well, when you're going through this, is actually having cash. Now I know that's not easy now, but it was, way before. But you can still get money out. You can still actually get cash back, I think, at supermarkets
Oh,
now.
it's the mindset, isn't it? I think as well. If you really
Yes.
want cash, you normally find a way to get it, won't you?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
without a doubt. The funny thing is, like, it's the resources that you have. And
Mm,
my resources, I had that place that I could go to. And when women say, "Oh, I wish I had a place," it's not about that actually. It's about the resources that you have because we all have resources. It's just thinking outside the box really as to what you can do. Now I rented out my house because I had, in terms of Devon, and I just thought of that idea. I thought I can do this to to generate some money.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I mean, that was afterwards, really. But the thing is because in the interim, that's what you've got. You've got to do something. It's like there's lots of things you can do. Like you can sell things on eBay.
Mm,
You can set up an eBay account, or you can set up what have you got? Because loads of people have got things to sell.
mm,
It's,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And then we've had people come into Winning Women looking for somewhere to go for a friend who's been abused, and
yes,
I've had people come into my business and create an extra income stream with the long term, with the intention of actually leaving a really stuck relationship, and have done so as well.
yeah,
That's
and
partly
that's
what my travel.
great.
It's partly what my travel business is for.
Yeah,
With Winning Women, and my whole life really, I'm all about women having choices. Not having to live with someone or sleep with someone or give your body to someone or share your life with someone if you really don't want to.
yes,
It's one of my massive values, and historically, women have just had to give everything up, haven't
yes, they have. And the thing is, it's like the ironic thing is that we're really strong. We're stronger than we think we are.
they?
We're powerful beyond measure. We are good enough. We're important enough, and we matter. And it's standing in that truth, really.
And where else did you get support from at that time? Was there a charity or something like that?
I actually worked with a lady who runs like a few businesses now, Caroline Strawson, who she at the time was working one-to-one like coaching therapy and stuff. And then I had Karen Doveston, who was a lawyer, and actually that helped me a lot. And then I joined Caroline's group way before that in August the previous year, through some, Joe Soley, who said, "Oh, why don't you join this group?" And that's when I did, and that's when I started working with Caroline just after I filed for divorce. That's what um
Okay. How do
my
we spell Caroline Falston? F.
oh, it's Caroline, Caroline as in Caroline, and it's
Yeah.
Strawson, Strawson.
Fantastic. Thank you. Because that's important. That could be someone's lifeline here, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. I mean, she's got lots of resources. She's got like the mental health, she's got a lot of resources actually.
Wonderful.
And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll put your links in the comments as well. Um, any last thing you'd like to add, Gina? Thank you so much.
Yeah, like if you help just one person, that's my
Mm,
thing really, that actually, we are a lot so much stronger than we think we are. I
mm.
mean, I was completely broken, I was really broken. Like when I left Essex, I literally remember this so well. putting my stuff together and thinking, right, I'm going today. Oh no, I'm going tomorrow. Oh yeah, you know, all of this stuff because your nervous system's literally in pieces all over the place, and you're it's the fear of like, you know, back and forth all the time, and it's, you know, it is like that, and it is really it's really hard. You know, you have to face that fear, and courage is not the absence of it, it's actually facing it and actually taking action and just doing it. And it was like, I still remember that feeling because I don't think you'll ever forget it, and actually going, but and then you become stronger and stronger and stronger because we keep moving forward and forward and forward. And even though you have those resources, it's you that does it, no one else. It's you. You can have those, but you have got to make those decisions. And bit by bit, you get stronger and stronger, and you make more and more decisions. And God, I've made so many. Be careful what you wish for, hey? Because I make every
Lovely.
blooming decision now.
So we're directing people back to your podcast as well, aren't we? That's wonderful.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Listen to my podcast because there's some really great guests on there, and you know, and if anyone wants to be on, just reach out.
Wonderful. Gina, thank you so much for sharing your story, your money story.
Thank you,
And,
Rosemary.
and then it's all about writing a new one, isn't it?
Well, yes, exactly. I'm already doing that, so you know, I'm already like learned a lot about different things, investments and stuff as you've gone along, sort of thing, which is great.
Yeah, and of course, your money story isn't just investments, it's a metaphor for your whole life, isn't it?
Well,
Anything
exactly.
you
You know
do.
what? Who you marry counts for everything. It literally does. Who you have a relationship with, who you're friends with, all of that has a bearing on your finance. Yeah, exactly. It's not just, yeah, but it's learning about these things because we can all do that. That's the thing, you
Yeah,
know.
and sometimes we feel like we're backed into a corner, we don't have any choices. So you're here to help
Yes.
people find their choices, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
make those difficult decisions. Thank you so much. It's been a joy.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thanks for having me. Been great. Thank you.
Gina.